What's up, guys, and welcome back, or welcome in if you are new here to the Dual Sense podcast. I am one of your co hosts, Jason. I am joined, as always, by one of the country's most sought after professional groomsmen who spends his days making sure that your big day goes off without a hitch and spends his nights playing PlayStation games. Travis, what's good? What's going on today?
Not much. It's like Wedding Crashers without all the sex.
Correct. It's a very professional wedding crasher.
Mm-hmm. Tie a lot of ties, put a lot of boutonnieres on, and then you have the basics. Like you always have tissues and lotion in case somebody gets, dry hands. And you always have a backup printout of the vows and keep a mini Bible in your pocket just in case the preacher forgets his. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Somebody may keep those knees locked for a little bit too long and may bite the dust. You may have to step in. Well, Travis, for the uninitiated or the noobs, we are a weekly podcast where you and I get together each and every week to discuss all of the news, rumors, new game releases, and a little bit more in the world of PlayStation. We post new episodes on a new day now, on Monday. We've moved our published day to Monday, so we'll see how that goes. If you guys want to engage with us, you can do that on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. If you'd like to check out some of our game streams and clips, you can find us on YouTube as well at the DualSense Podcast. We also post every new episode on YouTube, so if you prefer to watch there, you can do that. So have you been playing anything new this week, Travis, or has it been your usual stuff, or what's been going on?
Just my usual stuff. If you count making new wheel calibrations as a new game, then yes, I did play something new. So technically the games are old, but they felt new on the wheel. So I'll count that.
It's like sitting on your hand until it goes to sleep and then touching yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you get the wheel calibration right, it's like playing, but it's like the difference between a PS4 and a DualSense controller. You get that nice feedback.
Okay. How did that go? Did it work out?
Yeah, it worked out good until I was watching another guy crash into another guy, and then I forgot to hit the brakes, and I took out a guy at about 200 miles an hour. So that was pretty awesome.
What happened? Did you just fall asleep at the wheel?
Yeah.
No pun intended.
No, the first race was cool. We both got points. My teammate finished 4th. I finished 9th. I probably should have finished a little bit better, but the first few laps were a little sketchy. But anyway, we did the feature race after that, and one of the other guys was like squeezing him into the wall, and I could see it coming, and they were both to my left, and I was like, Freddie, he's going to squeeze you, look out, because I didn't think Freddie could see him. I didn't want him to get basically pit maneuver, because that's what was going to happen. And I heard Freddie say, oh, and then I was watching them instead of the track. So I look back at the track and everybody's turning, and I'm on the inside doing 200. And I just pull out into a dude, and it popped up, and it was like major collision penalty, and like my wing flew off, and it was a disaster.
You were on a highway to hell.
Yeah, I was trying to watch out for my teammate, and I killed everybody.
Is Freddie a British lad?
No, Freddie lives in Miami.
Oh,
he's Puerto Rican.
Oh, okay. Okay, wow. I was hoping that he was a British lad.
No, the guy I killed was from Pennsylvania. He's a software editor for a church, whatever that means.
That's funny. Yeah, because I wanted it to be Freddie Mercury. So anyway, well, I have played a couple of new games. I just have been playing my normal stuff other than these two games. Played Red Dead, 2K. We didn't play any Battlefield this week. We've just been honed in on 2K, but I did play Maneater, which is that shark RPG game that is a PlayStation 5 PS Plus game. Right. And it's not for me. It's not for me.
Is it cartoony or is it?
It's a little bit cartoony, but in terms of how the character models look for humans, but I don't know what my problem with it is. Well, I know a little bit of what my problem is. So here's the thing. I think maybe I'm just not in the right headspace to play that game, but I wanted to try it out. I don't know. Anyway, within the first 10 minutes of the game, I have to go do a story quest because it's an open world shark RPG. So I'm like I'm in the bayou waters, whatever. And I'm looking for like a school of like catfish, and I have to eat like 10 catfish to do this objective, whatever. So the objective is in the middle of like 3 alligators. And I'm like, oh, cool. Okay. So I thought they were just going to leave me alone. No, alligators eat sharks, I guess, if they're small enough. So I get attacked by these 3 alligators. I cannot do anything. So the first time I was caught off guard, I was like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, they're going to attack, whatever. So the second time I respawned and come back, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go now. So I'm trying to attack them, and I'm doing like no damage to an alligator. So I was like, okay, well, I'll try a third time. So I try to be a little bit more tactical, like dodge their attacks and get underneath all this different stuff. And I would just got worked by these alligators. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not playing. I'm not playing this game. Like, don't do this. So I'm whatever. I don't have time for this. I wanted to play something that I could just turn my brain off and just whatever, do stupid shit with the shark, like GTA just blowing cars up. But I couldn't get it to click for me. So, but the funny thing is this week I've been seeing people talk about how much fun it is and whatever. And so I guess it's me. It's a me problem.
Yeah.
And then,
Why don't you look up the walkthrough?
oh Christ, a walkthrough for a shark RPG.
Yeah, well, you are playing a shark RPG, to be fair, in the first place.
Yeah, that's okay. Fair enough.
I mean, but the real question is, could an alligator eat a shark?
The real question is, well,
How could a shark not do damage?
that is that's a fair question. Another fair question is, if you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself?
Well, no, you wouldn't be a cannibal. Actually, a hot dog eating itself wouldn't be called a cannibal, would it? 'Cause doesn't cannibal has some sort of derivative to humans? The language
Probably.
it'd be called something else, wouldn't it?
Hmm. Yeah, you'd be a lips and assholes
Right?
eater, eater, whatever.
Wienerable.
Then the other new game that I've been playing is FIFA 21. I got it on sale on the holiday sale. It was like $28, and it's usually never lower. Normally when we have bought it in the past, like the older iterations, we've usually gotten it around like 25 to 30. So 28 was good with me. So I took the jump. Just been watching a lot of soccer lately anyway because I've gotten into it this season and into the Premier League. Everton are my boys. So anyway, I'm a little bit more into it. So I went ahead and picked it up. The only thing I've been doing so far is a manager's career,
Mhm.
and I wanted to start from the bottom, and so I picked an English League Two team, which is the lowest that you can get in England on the game anyway. And I picked Bradford City, the Bradford City Bantams,
Bantam?
the Bantams,
What's a
yeah,
bantam? Like a bantamweight?
right, bantamweight, correct. So I looked up what a bantam was because that's a cool nickname, it's a cool sounding nickname, right? So I
Can
looked
I
up what a
guess? It's a bat.
Yeah, it's a small animal.
Oh.
It is a breed of chicken.
You're named after a tiny chicken?
I'm named after a tiny chicken.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's better than a gamecock.
Yeah,
I'll give them
well, yeah, it's a tiny cock.
that. It's a tiny cock. Yeah. So I'm the little cocks of Bradford City. And a little fun fact about Bradford City for us dumb Americans, because we already know that our lads across the pond know this, I'm sure. But did you know that the Bradford City Bantams, are the only club in English professional football who don the colors claret and amber? There's no other club in English professional football whose colors are claret and amber.
I don't know what color claret is.
It's maroon. It's maroon,
So
but
they have,
it's English, so
Roma
they got to be
colors?
fancy. Yeah, they have Roma colors exactly. Yeah. So I went with them. So it's going okay so far. I'm trying to learn the ropes. I'm trying to grow my youth academy and what all that stuff. So
Yeah, by
anyway,
the time you get to the Premier League, they'll be like 28.
right, right. So that's the goal, is to get to the Premier League. Win the cup, win the silverware, as they say. Anyway, that's it for me as far as new games. So with that, let's get into the news, because we do have a lot of news this week, Travis. As you can see, there's a ton. There's a ton. So there's so much, in fact, that I broke Microsoft Word in the news nuggets section. I had to skip an entire letter bullet point because the computer didn't know what the hell to do. So anyway, here we go. Number one, Sony appears to have put a nail in the coffin, or at the very least, a pin in the balloon of the KILLZONE franchise over the weekend, as the official KILLZONE website has been shut down. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the KILLZONE.com domain now redirects to PlayStation.com, and visitors will find a statement from Guerrilla that reads, quote, "The official website for the Killzone franchise has retired. While this change doesn't affect the online multiplayer modes, player statistics, or ranking data for Killzone Mercenary or Killzone Shadowfall, it is now no longer possible to create or manage the clans in Killzone Shadowfall. We apologize for this inconvenience. Thank you to Killzone.com's many fans and visitors throughout the years for their enthusiasm and support." End quote. The peculiar move comes on the heels of Sony removing any mention of the first person shooter franchise from its PlayStation Studios website. Very curious. What do you think?
They put Killzone in the kill zone.
They did.
When was the last Killzone? When did the last one come out? I don't even remember.
It would have been 2013 because it was a PS4 launch game,
Right.
Shadowfall.
All right. Well, then that's right. It was.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
I can
8
see why
years
they
ago.
deleted it. Yeah, I guess on one hand, as far as the first person shooter goes, what are the odds that you make something better than Call of Duty or Battlefield? Probably not high.
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, I feel like maybe they've kind of moved on and gave up, or at least they want to give. I was gonna say at least they want to give something like this a break, but they haven't made one in 8 years. So
Right.
yeah, I guess Killzone's dead. They might come up with their own different kind of first person shooter, but like we've talked about before with Battlefield and Call of Duty. I mean, if you have exclusivity type deals with Call of Duty, it kind of becomes your first person shooter in a way.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's necessarily really shocked by it. I was more surprised that Codemasters got bought out than I was that this has been killed.
So I have a few thoughts about it. First of all, kind of what you're saying as far as we know that Sony has a marketing deal with Activision for, Call of Duty, that we always get map packs or whatever early, and we get these free PS Plus like battle packs with like character skins and whatever, like stuff
Mhm,
like that,
mhm,
So there's that, like you said. And then there's the other part of what you said, which is that, it's just tough to compete with Call of Duty because it's the best selling game year after year. So there's that. But at the same time, I feel like first person shooters are probably the most popular genre of game on the planet. If you think about Killzone, or I'm sorry, Call of Duty and Battlefield, and then not to mention, and then the other games like like Wolfenstein and all these kind of like single player
mhm.
like shooters, and then
Right.
not to mention you have all the free to play games that are shooters.
Mhm,
Like Apex Legends is a first person shooter for example. So it's a big space, and I think that PlayStation needs to compete in that space, and they haven't obviously since Killzone Shadowfall, which is still around, but they've obviously killed the website and removed Killzone from the PlayStation Studios website, which is pretty ominous. However, my other thought about this is that they have to be making some type of shooter at Guerrilla, who is the developer of Killzone, because as we've talked on here before, they hired the game director for Rainbow Six Siege
mhm.
from Ubisoft, along with a lot of other talent who have worked on first person shooters. And so they're not doing that for Horizon.
Right.
So they have to have a second team that's making something else there, and that
Mhm.
something else has to be a shooter.
Yeah.
So that makes you wonder what it is, because it doesn't appear that it's going to be Killzone.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they wouldn't do this, I wouldn't
Yeah.
think.
It does kind of make sense though. They brought in all these new guys that don't really have a tie to the
Hmm.
Killzone brand anyway, and
Hmm.
there hasn't been one out in 8 years. So you could make the argument that maybe it's dead, or maybe it doesn't have the weight it had before. So we have a whole
Hmm.
new team. Let's just start all over. Let's start from scratch. We have no timeline. Let's kick it and go and see what we get.
Yeah, and if we're being honest, like Killzone's not a huge franchise, right? Like
Hmm.
it sells millions of copies and it normally reviews, well, but it's not blowing people away. Like
Right.
it's not one of the best first person shooters.
Yeah, it's good, not
Now,
great.
yeah, it's fine, as you say. Now, the last thing I have to say about this is that I really I hope right in my plums that this means that they're bringing back SOCOM, a military shooter that they can turn into a competitive. military shooter. And they could even change it to first person if they wanted to. I don't know. We'll see. There's been some rumblings about SOCOM, but we'll see because that is a Sony IP. Number 2, the 2021 Consumer Electronics Show took place this week, and Sony's participation in the show included a PlayStation 5 sizzle reel trailer that revealed release windows for a number of upcoming titles. First off, beautiful adventure game Kena, Bridge of Spirits is slated for a March release. The second game from Hyper Light Drifter developer Heart Machine, titled Solar Ash, is scheduled for June. The action-adventure game, which looks super cool, Little Devil Inside, is planned for July. Japanese folklore-based action game Ghostwire Tokyo from Tango Gameworks is set to launch in October, as well as Stray, the third-person cat adventure game set in a futuristic dystopia. The open-world RPG from publisher Square Enix, Project Athia, is currently scheduled for a January 2022 release. And finally, the mysterious new action-adventure game Pragmata from Capcom has been delayed until 2023, it would seem. However, it is worth noting that after this became news, Sony took the video down and removed any mention of any release dates for any of these third-party games. So take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But they did originally present this at CES with these dates. So anything jump out to you here?
Pragmata. I mean,
Yeah,
wake me up later.
right.
I don't know that you need to tell me a game's been delayed when it was supposed to come out for 24 months in the first place or whatever.
Yeah, it
Anyway,
was 2022 before.
the more stuff I see about Project Athia, I get the same mediocre feeling about it that I had from, what was it called? The game that we didn't like that we thought would be cool, and then nobody liked it at all. You could fly around and shit. And it was a big party game, like, hey, we're all gonna play. It's gonna be fun. You could go underwater and get a jetpack.
What game is this? Who made it?
Some people made it for PlayStation games.
And you could go underwater?
There's characters. It looked really cool at one of the showcases. You and John played it, I think. And you didn't like
Anthem.
it. Yeah, Anthem. That's it. Whatever, dude. It was so bad, I forgot what it was called. I just get this feeling that Square Enix is going to put out another mediocre bullshit game. Another, like, I say that like they do it all the time. No offense, Square Enix. I just don't feel like this is going to work.
Yeah, they did release Marvel's Avengers, which lost a lot of money. So
yeah, but I enjoyed it, so I don't count that.
True.
And like you said, the Little Devil Inside does look cool. I think the words "look cool" are perfect. And I'm still curious about Stray. I don't know what it is. I don't know what we're doing. I've heard people say that this is the game they're most excited about this year. And
interesting.
Part of that is because we don't really know anything, and you're just a cat.
Right.
I have a lot of questions about it, and we have no answers. So the more I see about it, it seems like the more lost I get.
Right. So I'm excited about Kena, Bridge of Spirits. That game looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'll get it until it's like on sale, maybe down the road. Definitely going to wait for reviews. And then, like I said, I am excited about Little Devil Inside, and apparently it can be co-opted. So that's pretty cool. And then the only other one on this list that really interests me at all is Project Athia or Athia, however you say that. I'm assuming that's the code name. That's not really what it's going to be called, but because apparently they're making that as a PS5 exclusive. I don't know if it's going to come to other consoles later or not, but it seems interesting to me. So we'll see. And then the other thing I'll say about this is that these release windows, as they are, I would say are true, or at least were true. Otherwise, Sony wouldn't present this with that in there at the Consumer Electronics Show, which is a huge trade show for the industry. So the fact that they went back and scrubbed it, I mean, sure, take it with a grain of salt, but I think that they did that because these third-party developers and publishers probably bitched at them like, hey, you just outed our release date in this video. And now everybody knows, Square Enix probably called them up and bitched at them. But we'll see. Time will tell, as it always does. Number 3, Lucasfilm announced this week that Lucasfilm Games would be the new force behind all gaming titles from Lucasfilm, meaning Star Wars games. and that they would be collaborating with, quote, the finest studios across the industry, end quote. Later in the week, Ubisoft announced that Massive Entertainment, the team behind open world shooter The Division, is developing a Star Wars game. Julian Garrity, who directed The Division 2, is directing this new open world game set in the Star Wars universe. Ubisoft Massive is also currently at work on an open world game based on the Avatar movie. I don't know why they're even bothering. And the combination of that, along with this new Star Wars title, would seem to indicate that there will be no third installment of The Division anytime soon.
Fuck The Division.
Fuck that Division. This news from Ubisoft indicated that the current deal between Electronic Arts and Lucasfilm will not be renewed when it expires in 2023, a move later confirmed indirectly by both EA and Lucasfilm Games, opening up the Star Wars IP for other game developers, with Lucasfilm promising more game announcements are coming. EA, who confirmed they will continue making Star Wars games, has owned exclusive development rights to Star Wars video games since 2013. Any thoughts?
Was it you the other day, or was it somebody else that I heard say, why hasn't EA made an open world Star Wars game? They've had the rights for almost a decade.
Well, I don't know. It wasn't me, but it
Yeah.
makes sense.
And of course, now we basically see that that's going to be a thing here in the
Yeah.
future. So that might be actually really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't think Battlefront was bad, and there is a new Star Wars game coming out this year. Was it Lego Star Wars?
Oh yeah, they're gonna do the
Oh,
complete saga or whatever
right.
that
Yeah,
is.
they're going to do the whole
Yeah.
saga. So that'll probably be pretty
Yeah.
interesting. So good for them on that. But I'm excited
Yeah.
to see what the open world thing is. It sucks that we won't get a Division 3 for a little bit, but I'm not. I think they could use a break on that. I'm not sure how much different they can make it right now. It might be beneficial to wait a few years into the new systems to see kind of how they could develop that game. But
Mhm.
I will be interested to see what they come up with for this open world Star Wars IP.
Yeah. I mean, this is, to me, in my opinion, this is a great studio to make this
Mhm.
this type of game. And as someone who is lukewarm on Star Wars, like Star Wars is cool to me, I guess,
Mhm.
but I'm not like a huge fan or anything. If it was any other studio besides Ubisoft Massive, I don't think I would be interested. But the fact that it's them, and I loved both of the Division games, makes me hopeful for what they
Mhm.
can do with it. So
It could be really cool.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see about that. But I am bummed out that, because there's just no way that they can be working on 3 games at the same time.
That's asking a lot.
Yeah, there's just no way. They would need like 1,000 employees to do that or more. Number 4, Fallout and Elder Scrolls publisher Bethesda revealed a brand new project in the works at developer Machine Games on Tuesday. The studio, which is best known for their Wolfenstein series of games, is currently toiling away on an Indiana Jones game for next-gen systems. In an announcement tweet, Bethesda stated, quote, "The game will tell a wholly original standalone tale set at the height of the career of the famed adventurer," end quote. It appears that the new franchise is still early in development, and of course, time will tell if it will ever release on a PlayStation
Mhm.
console. What do you think?
They got all the Nazi stuff. They could really do that whole story since they had the Wolfenstein series.
Right.
Um,
There's a good parallel there.
my presumption is this won't ever make it to PlayStation, and they want to create
Hmm.
sort of an adventurer style Uncharted like competitor or whatever.
Hmm.
That's their own. That's my take or my guess. I would say.
Yeah. Microsoft got their Uncharted game
Yeah,
finally.
basically, but they couldn't create it on their own. They had to copy Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm also not an Indiana Jones guy, which
Mhm.
is Indiana Jones a Lucasfilm thing? Maybe not. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think so
Is it?
now. I think now it is.
Okay. So this all just kind of came as a windfall this week. But I mean, Machine Games makes good games. I never got into the Wolfenstein games, but they're very well regarded. So kind of an interesting studio to be making like an adventure game, though, like an Uncharted,
Right.
Tomb Raider style game, because those are first person shooters, obviously. So we'll see how that translates. So that'll be interesting to see what their take on that is. Number 5, we received our first glimpse at actual in game footage of the upcoming PS5 exclusive Destruction All Stars. The clip, which was posted on Reddit and is about 25 seconds long, seems to have been found somehow within the Share Factory Studio app. In the clip, it appears that players will have the ability to freely exit their vehicles while in combat, and overall, the gameplay looked somewhat like a mix between Wreckfest, Twisted Metal, and Rocket League. Destruction All Stars will make its way to the PS5 in February as a free PlayStation Plus title, and developer Lucid Games recently promised to share more info on the game in the lead up to launch. Hmm.
They don't have a lot of time.
That's they're running out of time pretty quickly, which is very odd.
Right. Well, I mean, it does look cool in the clip.
Mm-hmm.
I can see myself accidentally launching out of the car at the wrong time. That seems like that'll be pretty common.
Yeah.
But the way that it looks on the game and the kind of the way the physics are set up, it kind of sets itself up to where you'll have these really insane scenarios or these situations that can kind of occur.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be pretty awesome to see, like, the different things people end up doing, even if it's by accident. But I'm excited to, goof off and find my character and see what we can do.
Yeah. Did you get to see the clip from
Mm-hmm.
Reddit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It looked a little bit different than I expected it to, as far as like how it works with like crashing a car and then you like get ejected out of it type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what I expected, but it looks cool to me. So I'm excited to play it. And normally, if this was a game that we were going to have to pay for, it would be a big red flag that we haven't seen any proper gameplay.
Right.
So that's very odd. But they're giving it away for free, and it's not been delayed. So I don't really know what the holdup is. They may never. I mean, they said they were going to, but they may not show very much. They may just launch it and let people play it. I don't know. Kind of weird. Number 6, the Returnal information kept on flowing this week as game director Harry Kruger, our boy, took to the PlayStation blog to share a new gameplay video, as well as details on guns and equipment. The game will feature 10 base weapons with 90 different equipable weapon traits, each of which have 3 levels, and 10 equipable alt fire modes. Players can hold only one weapon at a time, making your weapon choices extremely important depending on the situation. In terms of equipment, as players gain experience and level up, they will unlock new items that will be permanently available for use, and can include things like a smart bomb, which destroys all enemies nearby, or a kinetic siphon, which restores health through melee kills. And finally, players will also have to make strategic decisions on whether or not to collect special items such as parasites, which simultaneously provide both a positive and negative status effect, but can be the difference between life and death. Sounds kind of cool. What do you think?
There's a lot going on there.
There is a lot.
The parasites thing I thought was really interesting, but I do like that. It's kind of like a different take on armor, or like a potion you could drink. Give positive and negative effects. So I think that'll be pretty cool, even though parasites are creepy and gross. I wonder if the kinetic siphon is what we saw, kind of like sucking in those little orbs in one of those gameplay footage. I wonder if you could only get that to work with the siphon. I'd be curious to see how that works. I will say that the 90 different equipable traits seems really overwhelming.
Sure.
With 3 levels, so you have 180 options. That's
right.
Not right. You have 270 options. Math is hard. Phew, that just seems like a lot to me.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be literally. I mean, you could play for 10 hours, and me and you may never have the same experience
at all with anything.
Yeah, at all. Like, we may find the same enemies, but we may not kill them in the same way or whatever. So I got to say, man, you know that I'm rock hard for this. I'm just
you couldn't be any more erect.
I couldn't be. I'm getting ready to have to call a doctor. It's been more than 4 hours, but I am super excited for this game. This may be, depending on how the year shakes out, this could be my game of the year on PS5. We'll see.
Wow, it's early. That's early. We haven't even.
I know.
I'm gonna see 10 minutes of gameplay.
You know what? I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. This game is going to be an 85 or higher on Metacritic once all the reviews are in. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you guys right now. Don't sleep on this shit. Don't sleep on it. Number 7, in a video statement on Wednesday, CD Projekt Red co-founder Marcin Iwinski apologized to Cyberpunk 2077 players on behalf of the company's leadership for the botched release and poor state of the game. Iwinski said that Cyberpunk was developed first and foremost for PC, that's obvious, and then when it came to making the console versions, quote, things did not look super difficult at first. While we knew the hardware game, ultimately, Time has proven that we've underestimated the task, end quote. He went on to say that internal testing, quote, did not show many of the issues, end quote,
Mm-hmm.
that players have experienced, and that each day they worked on the game led to significant improvements.
Did
He
it?
also added that the lateness of console review codes being sent to media members was due to the team still working on the day zero patch for the game up until the last minute. And finally, Avinsky also revealed a roadmap for future updates to the game, which includes major performance patches, free DLC coming in the first part of the year, and the next gen upgrade, which won't arrive until the last half of the year, as we reported on that rumor last week, which turned out to be true. What do you think? What
Well,
do you make of this? What do you make of this message here? You believe it?
no. First of all, saying the internal testing did not show issues, that's a flat out lie. There's no way you could test that game and not see that shit. That's
Mm-hmm.
impossible, as far as I'm concerned. And also the lateness of the console codes, like that's a bunch of bullshit too. Like everybody else gets the console codes out, even, and everybody has a day zero patch now anyway.
Yeah.
So that's a load of horse shit. And as to this first point where he said things didn't look super difficult, well then you have to be incompetent. Like you're just not good at your job. Like why would you not think that would
Mm-hmm.
be difficult? You've seen other games have issues with this going from console to PC. Why would it not be an issue to do it the other way? So, as far as I'm concerned, like, why does he have a job?
Right.
Like,
It's like
if
that.
he all these pitfalls, you're just a moron.
Yeah, it's like that scene in Casino. Either you're too incompetent to do the job, or you're too fucking stupid. Either way, you're out. You're not working here anymore.
Yeah, those are that's the two options. And like, I would be like, you just said you bet whatever on your 85 score. I bet whatever that we don't get the next gen upgrade this year. I question if
Yeah.
we'll ever get it. They might come to a
Right.
point where they're just like, you know what, it didn't work. It's here it is on PC.
Yeah. I'm not buying this. I'm not buying that they didn't see the issues. I am not buying that, they saved the codes. Well, I am buying that they saved the codes because they were still working on it. They were absolutely still working on it. There's no doubt about that. The reason they didn't send the code out wasn't because they were working on it. The reason that they did not send the code out is because they knew it was going to be destroyed.
Right? It's get like twos and threes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, the more they open their mouth and the more they talk, those class action lawsuits are not looking good for them.
Mm-mm,
I'm telling you,
mm-mm.
it's not looking good. I may have to jump on in there, get my $60.
And then we also saw today, or is it yesterday, the report on Twitter that
Mm-hmm.
everything we saw leading up to that, everything we saw in those demos in 2018 was fake.
Yeah,
None of that was real.
right. Jason Schreier, the lone wolf investigative journalist in the video game industry who writes for Bloomberg, he did an article on them, and he talked to like 20 employees, and they basically said that 2018 E3 demo that you're talking about that kind of blew everybody away was basically fake. That they just made that like they didn't even have the code for the base gameplay done yet. So they just designed that demo for E3, and they didn't even really have the systems in place. So that's something else. Man, that doesn't help their class action lawsuit either.
No, 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 no. That's a blatant lie. It's misleading.
Yeah,
It's all of those things.
it is. That's we'll see how 2021 goes for them. Number 8, PlayStation announced the top selling games of 2020 this week over on the PlayStation blog, and they are as follows. On PS5 in the US and Canada, number 1 was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, followed by Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, NBA 2K21, Demon's Souls, Madden NFL 21, FIFA 21, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, Immortals Phoenix Rising, and Watch Dogs Legion. Over in Europe, number 1 was Black Ops Cold War, Miles Morales, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, FIFA 21, Demon's Souls, Watch Dogs Legion, Immortals Phoenix Rising, NBA 2K21, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Interesting. So, any take on the PS5 list here?
Nothing too crazy. I mean, that's about what you'd
Yeah.
expect for what we have. Rainbow Six is interesting in Europe, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's mostly who plays that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So the only thing I really stands out to me here is, well, two things. Number one, Godfall is not on the list,
Mm,
and the second thing is that Sackboy is at number 8.
mhm.
So it's good for it. It's a good sign. It's supposed to be a really good game. So the top selling games of 2020 on the PS4 in the US and Canada were Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War at number 1, followed by Grand Theft Auto 5, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Minecraft at number 4, Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, NBA 2K21, NBA 2K20, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Madden NFL 21, and then over in Europe, number 1 was FIFA 21, FIFA 20, Grand Theft Auto 5 at 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Minecraft, NBA 2K20, The Last of Us Part 2, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Wow. Red Dead Redemption 2 at number 10 over in Europe. Anything there?
Love Ghost of Tsushima at 5.
Mm-hmm.
I like that our version of basically what we did with 2K is what they did in Europe with FIFA.
Right.
It's hilarious.
It is.
The Witcher is what is happening over there? Did it just catch a wave?
That's surprising. Yeah. That
Which is
caught me.
hilarious. I love seeing Red Dead up there though. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So nothing too
Yeah.
crazy. You know, you expect the GTAs and the
Mm-hmm.
CODs and the Minecrafts. Those will always be there.
They love old games in Europe. They've
Hmm.
got Minecraft, which would, well, that's over. So Minecraft at 4 on PS4 and number 4 on PS5 as well. Like that game, good God, that game is just, I can't believe it sells so many copies and is just stuck around this long. It's amazing. And then on PSVR, Travis, the top selling games for 2020 in the US and Canada were Beat Saber at number 1, followed by Job Simulator, Super Hot VR, The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Gorn, Creed Rise to Glory, Arizona Sunshine, Vader Immortal, a Star Wars VR series, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Marvel's Iron Man VR at number 10. And then over in Europe, number 1 was Beat Saber, followed by Job Simulator, Blood and Truth, Super Hot VR, The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Creed Rise to Glory, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Gorn, Vader Immortal, and Arizona Sunshine at number 10. Anything there?
When it comes to VR, everybody talks about Beat Saber, Job Simulator, and Super Hot. So
Mm-hmm.
you expect to see those up there.
Yeah.
I want to know what Gorn and Arizona Sunshine are.
Gorn is a like a horror game, I think. Like a hell, like you're in hell and I don't know.
Sounds like it's terrible.
Yeah, it looks weird. Astrobot's supposed to be pretty
Yeah, Arizona Sunshine. You're Nick Cage.
good. You are. Oh, Raising Arizona Sunshine. What a great movie. And then finally, here in the free to play category, the top 20, or I'm sorry, the top selling, or I guess top downloaded games on both PS5 and PS4 combined in 2020. In the US and Canada is number 1, Call of Duty Warzone, followed by Rocket League, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Rogue Company, Hyperscape, Genshin Impact, Destiny 2, Brawlhalla, and Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 Lite. Over in Europe, it is Call of Duty Warzone at number 1, Rocket League, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Hyperscape, Genshin Impact, Rogue Company, Brawlhalla, Destiny 2, and eFootball PES 2020 Lite. Interesting. Number 9, the NPD Group released both December sales data as well as the numbers for 2020 as a whole this week. The top 10 selling games on PS4 and PS5 for the month of December were Black Ops Cold War at number 1, followed by Spider Man Miles Morales, Cyberpunk 2077, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Madden NFL 21, NBA 2K21, Ghost of Tsushima, FIFA 21, Immortals Phoenix Rising, and Demon Souls at number 10. Anything jump out at you there for the month of December?
As much as people love Demon Souls, I thought that would be higher than it was in December.
Right. Yeah, that seems pretty low for that, considering, that it was one of the most sought after, or I guess most hyped games for the PS5. So, but it's kind of a niche thing.
After those civil lawsuits, though, like Cyberpunk's third place finish is going to be vacated. It's going to be like an NTA Final Four. Take the banner down, just delete it out of the text box.
That's good. The top 10 bestsellers on PlayStation platforms for the entire year were Black Ops Cold War at number 1, which was the 12th year in a row for the Call of Duty franchise being number 1 in the United States, followed by Modern Warfare at number 2, The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Madden NFL 21, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, MLB The Show at 20, and Marvel's Avengers at number 10 for the year. And Travis, this was the first time since 2013 that Grand Theft Auto 5 did not make the year's bestsellers list.
And then we've already gotten like 2 DLC things for GTA this month, or little
Yeah.
missions or whatever.
Right.
I'm surprised to see Marvel's at 10, considering how bad everybody said it did sales wise. But there you go.
Right.
Maybe they broke even on it. Who knows?
No, they lost a ton. They lost like 60 million on that, which just goes to show you how much money that game cost to make.
And then it's still, how can you spend that much money in it anyway?
I know.
A lot of questions. I wonder how long until we see 2K on this list. I'm surprised it's not on there. Honestly, I'm surprised that the show outsold it.
Yeah, I know.
Unless all the users are on Xbox.
Right. Number 10, we have a ton of news nuggets here, Travis, to get through. And as always, feel free to jump in here. Hogwarts Legacy developer Avalanche announced that the Wizarding World open world RPG has been delayed to 2022.
Do you think that all those people that graduated from Hogwarts right before Harry Potter got there were like, thank fucking God, man, that place went to shit?
They're like, yeah, this asshole Harry Potter shows up and it goes to hell. Hell in a handbasket. Ubisoft announced that their sandbox extreme sports multiplayer game, Riders Republic, has been delayed until later this year. The game was originally scheduled to launch on February 25th. The game actually looks kind of neat, but I don't know if I'll play it.
I vaguely remember it.
Yeah. Website Push Square reported that a number of retailers now list the Mass Effect Legendary Edition release date as March the 12th. So I'd say that's probably happening. That's a Friday. So that'll get announced here soon. Website Push Square also reported that IO Interactive revealed Hitman 3 will take place across England, China, Argentina, Romania, Germany, and the UAE, or the United Arab Emirates, for those keeping score at home.
Yeah, this game, well, as you know, I'm excited about it, and it comes out in like 3 days.
Yeah, are you going to get it, or are you going to wait?
I feel like it's going to be on sale really quick. I don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's going to review in the 7 to 8 range. The replayability is obviously high, but the England map is pretty cool. Like you're in this old estate, and there's an additional role. Like if you want to take it on, you can. It's one of the disguises you can get. You can do the level like normal and take out your targets, but there's a murder that happened there they think it's a murder, and you can subdue the investigator,
Interesting.
or garrot him or shoot him in the head and take his disguise and go in. And while you're doing the mission as the hitman, you can also try to solve the case. So it's kind of like a bonus game inside of the game.
So I saw a take on Twitter from a media member who is reviewing the game, and has it. He said that the game itself, the game alone is worth playing just for that level, that mission.
Really?
Which is, so that what you're talking about. So that must be pretty good. Website Push Square also reported that Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human developer Quantic Dream is teasing a new game announcement for 2021. That PS4 game Joe's Diner is now playable on the PS5 via backwards compatibility.
Finally.
Thank Christ. After a recent patch fixed whatever issue they were having. That Sony Japan Studios Gavin Moore stated on Twitter he would like to make a sequel to the cult PS3 hit Puppeteer. It must be quite the cult hit because I had never heard of it. Website Push Square also reported that developer Respawn Entertainment has given Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order a PS5 update, including support for 60 frames per second at 1200 pixels. That folklore horror game Mundane, I don't know, will release on March 16th for PS4 and PS5. Owners of the PS4 version can upgrade for free to the PS5 version at any time. that developer Storemind Games, the developers of Remothered, Broken Porcelain, are developing a new IP for next-gen consoles and have already recruited a former Horizon Zero Dawn and Days Gone writer, as well as an Assassin's Creed concept artist. Interesting.
I read the concept artist. Like, it's just like an intern they got out of art school, and he drew like 4 or 5 pictures, and they were like, "No," and that's it.
No, that's it. Yeah, you're out. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for your contribution. Website Push Square also reported that publisher Capcom is set to host a Resident Evil showcase on January 21st, featuring the first gameplay footage from Resident Evil Village, as well as the reveal of a new multiplayer Resident Evil title, including the launch of a closed beta for said multiplayer title. You can already sign up for the closed beta if you wish. You can blindly sign up for it. And then Capcom will have all of your information stolen
Lovely.
in a security breach. They just got hacked the other day, and all this data got stolen. And then they're going to do signups for a closed beta. I was like, hell no. Website Push Square also reported that Treyarch will add even more new modes and maps to Black Ops Cold War in February, including a new zombies location, a new multiplayer map from Black Ops 2 called Express, and 2 new game modes. That Ubisoft's Immortals Phoenix Rising has added haptic feedback for the DualSense controller in the new 2.0 title update. That couch co-op game Moving Out will be getting a free Moving In update soon. It's pretty clever. And finally, website Push Square reported that Uncharted and The Last of Us developer Naughty Dog is on a hiring spree for their next project, which studio co-president Neil Druckmann says is quote unquote something very cool.
Of course he did. What
I
was he
would
gonna
hope
say?
that he would say that.
Yeah,
I would hope
it's
that he would
fucking
say
terrible. Some jack
Yeah,
off in marketing came up with it.
that. Oh man. The website PlayStation Universe reported that Roger Clark, the voice actor who played Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2, is rumored to be working on the upcoming God of War Ragnarok. After Clark posted a Sony Santa Monica studio job posting in his Instagram story, and it should be noted that he also shared this week postings from the Naughty Dog listing that we just said, so maybe he's just being a nice guy. PlayStation Universe also reported that data miners have discovered rumored Cyberpunk 2077 multiplayer modes buried in the game's files, because of course they did. Files seemingly reference a game mode called Heist and another called Deathmatch. That
Okay.
developer, that PlayStation Universe reported that developer Behavior Interactive will bring a graphics overhaul to Dead by Daylight in their next title update, which will also add 2 new maps. That an ESRB rating for a PS4 version of multiplayer first-person survival game Rust has appeared online, which means that game will be releasing imminently. That a new rumor suggests that Grand Theft Auto Online on PlayStation 5 will use Rockstar's updated Rage engine, which was last used in Red Dead Redemption 2. This is based on lines of code found in the recent GTA Online update, and the code also suggests that players will be able to transfer their character from the PS4 to PS5 versions of the game. So, what would you think about that? Would you play GTA Online if it had the Red Dead engine?
I don't know if that fixes all the griefers. That's the worst part about it.
Yeah, that's true. That definitely doesn't fix that.
The game's fun, but it's like annoying when you can't like do anything.
Yeah. Like when we're trying to make a pot delivery for our business and a guy with a jet blows us up.
Yeah, and he's in his fucking DeLorean. And he does it 100 times.
You know what would be cool? And maybe they will, or maybe they have. I don't really know. But on Red Dead, you can go into defensive mode where basically you can't be killed unless you like do like a competitive mission. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I wonder if they would do something like that. Would make the game infinitely more enjoyable for me, anyway. PlayStation Universe also reported that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 on PS4 has begun returning to PSN storefronts after being delisted in 2018. That Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies will be free to all players from January 14th to January 21st, so right now. That hardcore action game Dead Cells' highly anticipated DLC called Fatal Falls will release on January 26th. That Sony has filed a new PS5 patent that may allow players to leave messages and tips for each other in game. That a new rumor suggests a native PS5 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake is on the way and set to be revealed in February. that Star Wars Battlefront 2 actors TJ Ramini and Anthony Scordy posted pictures on social media of the two in motion capture suits, which most likely means Star Wars Battlefront 3 is in development at EA. That Tales from the Borderlands was rated for PS5 by PEGI, the European Games Rating Board,
Hey,
which
this
means
Peggy.
this PEGI, which means that a release on PS5 is imminent for that game as well. And finally, PlayStation Universe reported that Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt Red could be fined 10% of the previous year's income by the Polish government's Office of Competition and Consumer Protection if the studio fails to fix the current performance issues with the game.
Go Poland.
Yeah, good for them. That's 100% gonna happen. Next nugget here, website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that publisher THQ Nordic revealed that Biomutant will release in its next fiscal year, which begins April 1st. This comes just 1 week after it was reported that CEO Clemens Cruiser, the next James Bond villain, stated that Biomutant would release before April 1st. If you'll remember, us reporting last week, Travis. So the CEO of the company doesn't even know when the hell his games are coming out.
Perfect.
PlayStation Lifestyle also reported that developer Dimensional Ink Games will bring the popular MMO DC Universe online natively to the PS5 this year, complete with graphical upgrades and game engine improvements. That new job listings at Mafia developer Hangar 13's new Brighton, UK studio state that their in development game is a quote unquote cutting edge AAA title and will quote not necessarily be in the same genre as Mafia, end quote. It also appears the game will have a multiplayer component as Hangar 13 is hiring a lead online designer.
It's interesting.
It is.
Because you would assume the definitive edition was to gauge interest for a new one.
Right. Right.
But not. Then again, though, if I'm getting hired, I would like to know that there's more direction than not necessarily the same genre. Like I don't want to take the job and then we're doing monsters. Like I'm not here for that.
Yeah, what the hell does that mean? Like, hey, we're making a game, but we don't know if it's going to be Mafia yet or not. Like, what the fuck? Okay. PlayStation Lifestyle also reported that current PS Plus game Maneater, which I talked about earlier, will be getting new DLC in the near future, and that HBO's The Last of Us show has found its pilot episode director in the form of a Russian named Kantemir Balagov. Website Games Radar reported that publisher Take-Two Interactive has formally withdrawn their offer to acquire racing game publisher developer Codemasters, clearing the way for EA's $1.2 billion bid. That sucks. Games Radar also reported that developer Frontier Developments has delayed the Odyssey expansion for space MMO Elite Dangerous. That a new rumor suggests Grand Theft Auto 6 will have a playable male and female protagonist.
Are we going like where we switch characters like last time, or you pick a male or female?
I'm going to guess you pick. Website Gematsu reported that publisher Square Enix has trademarked multiple names and titles related to Final Fantasy VII Remake, perhaps for the future parts of the remake, including Ever Crisis, The First Soldier, and Shinra. Gematsu also reported that publisher CI Games announced that the Sniper Ghost Warrior franchise sales have topped 11 million copies sold. It's impressive. And that the next installment of the series, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2, is scheduled to release in the first quarter of this year. Didn't know that.
Those games always look interesting. I never play them, but they do look kind of cool to me.
I agree. Gematsu also reported that publisher CI Games also revealed that their upcoming action RPG sequel, Lords of the Fallen 2, has seen development scale up from a AA level to a AAA level, with the goal of appealing to Soulsborne style game fans. Lords of the Fallen 2 will come to PS5 whenever it does launch. So it's a next-gen only game, is my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And Gematsu reports that Cyberpunk stealth action RPG Disjunction will launch on PS4 on January 28th. That 2D pixel art Nintendo DS game Monster Tale is coming to modern game platforms in 2021, according to publisher Majesco Entertainment. That procedurally generated pirate action RPG King of Seas will launch on PS4 on February 18th. That first-person horror game Silver Chains will come to PS4 on January 29th. That music-based hack-and-slash game Neptunia Virtual Stars will launch on PS4 on March 2nd in North America and March 5th in Europe. That Japanese mythology-inspired platformer Kitsune Tales was announced by developer Kitsune Games, What an original name. It is due out in the first quarter of 2022. That competitive first person space shooter Boundary will launch on PS4 sometime this summer. I'm pretty hyped about that. The game
Yeah,
looks pretty dope.
the new footage we saw, or whatever I call it, the announcement trailer, I guess you'd call it,
Mm-hmm.
that looked pretty cool. I'm still not 100% certain if you can actually shoot a gun in space or what that would look like. I assume you
Right.
can, but I don't know if it would look. It doesn't really matter. But
I think they got asked that question. And I think they basically said, like, look, we know it's not, totally realistic, just,
oh yeah,
work with us, I think is what they said.
yeah. I was just
Something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. It just looks cool to me.
It does. Gamatsu also reported that 3D platformer Blue Fire will come to PS4 later this year. That spaceship shoot 'em up game Squadron 51 will release on PS4 at some point this year. That developer Magic Fish Studio is partnering with publisher Maximum Games to publish an unannounced horror adventure game later in 2021. That arcade twin stick shooter Curved Space is coming to PS4 and PS5 sometime in 2021. That beat 'em up, shoot 'em up platformer hybrid Psychotics Colossus Down will launch on PS4 on January 28th. That roguelike action game Curse of the Dead Gods will launch on PS4 on February 23rd. And finally, Gamatsu reported that the puzzle adventure game Tohu will release on PS4 on January 28th. And that is all for the news this week. It was quite a bit. And now we'll get into the new game releases, and I will turn it over to Travis.
In the most important country in the world, America, on January the 12th, we had Misc School's Quest, followed by Rocket Punch. Rocket Punch is like one of those Japanese games with live action weirdness going on.
Interesting.
Sounds terrible, but you might be into that. On the 13th, we had Brain Beats, The Pillar Puzzle Escape, Windfolk, Sky is Just the Beginning. None of those look very fun to me. On the 14th, we have MXGP 2020, the official motocross game, which I've heard
Uh-huh.
is pretty difficult, but not a lot of people play that game, but it does have a pretty big cult following. And speaking of, on the 14th, we had Scott Pilgrim versus the World of Game. Yay. On
Your game.
on the 15th, we had Ascendance and Loot Hero DX.
Hmm.
In the United Kingdom, on the 12th, we had Aborigines. Aborigines. Aborigines.
Aborigines.
Aborigines. Okay, cool. We also had Helheim Hassle, which is actually looks pretty cool. It's a puzzler. Again, I get sucked into these puzzlers with like cool stories and awesome
Mm-hmm.
artwork. But Helheim is hell in Viking folklore, I guess you'd say. And you
Yeah.
play this. You play this. I watched 30 minutes of gameplay by accident.
Oh, wow.
You're this character, and basically you don't like any of the Viking stuff. You don't like the battles. You think it's stupid. You don't want to die and go to Valhalla because in Viking folklore, when you go to Valhalla, that's literally you go there, you just fight all day. Like that's your reward is you get to be a warrior for eternity. He doesn't want to
Hmm.
do any of that. So basically, it's your journey through his life, and you try to get to Helheim eventually. And like different things can happen. Like you can take parts of your body off to solve sort of the puzzles. Like you can like take your head off and roll it. It's it's
Okay.
it's pretty interesting. The way that it's written is really weird. Like one of the Vikings keeps calling the other one bro, and like they say dude and stuff. It's super weird. It's I don't know. It's interesting. If you should look
Yeah.
into it. If it sounds like if puzzles are for you, you should look into it. Also on the 12th, we had Misc School's Quest and Rocket Punch. On the 13th, we had Die Young, The Pillar Puzzle Escape, Windfolk, Sky is Just the Beginning. On the 14th, we had MXGP 2020, the official motocross game, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. On the 15th, we had Ascendance, As Divine Hearts 2, and Loot Hero DX.
Nice. Nice little week there. Nothing too big, though, other than, I guess, Scott Pilgrim versus the World for some people, but definitely not Travis. Yeah, but that's all for the new game releases this week. And Travis, let's wrap up this episode and talk to me about what you got going on in the week ahead. Are you looking forward to anything with your games? Do you have any nice races, or you got any goals in mind? Anything you want to get done?
I think I want to look up the GT Sport races this week. That might be pretty cool. I think the seasons are over. I didn't do the last two races, so I couldn't tell you. The weekly races last week were really, really good, but I didn't really fool with them a whole lot. I did some
Mhm.
qualifying times and whatnot. That was about it. I just didn't have time to put into it. It's a pretty big time commitment to to do 2 or 3
Right.
races takes an hour and a half, give or take.
Right.
So depends on what those races are this week. I'm really excited about my backup point guard I traded for on 2K. I got Trey Burke. He's fun.
Oh, yeah.
He's just a bucket. Like
Yeah.
dude, dude can't really guard anything, but that's okay. I'll just foul him at the rim. Not a big deal. But he can, man. He gets his shot is so quick. It's so easy. So if you play 2K and you need a backup point guard or a third string point guard, he's worth taking a look at. Other than that,
Nice.
maybe you'll blow some people's heads off on Battlefield. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we can't get John to play games with us anymore. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just going to. I'm looking forward to playing more 2K in our league. I made a trade this week. I wasn't satisfied with a rookie that I drafted. So as you know, I traded him, dumped him for a new center. And so I'm interested to figure out how to play with Rashawn Holmes a little bit more, see what he's good at. And I have just played just a little bit of Assassin's Creed Valhalla in the past week, and I really want to get to a point where I can play it a little bit more regularly because we don't really have any big like time sync games coming in the
Mhm,
first half of the year. Like Destruction All Stars and Returnal and even Deathloop aren't RPGs. So
mhm.
I'll be playing Valhalla for a while now, and then I am at level 90 on my Outlaw Pass on Red Dead. So I'm hoping that this is the week that I can get to 100 and be done with Outlaw Pass and get that off my plate so I can have that at 115 gigabytes back if I need it here in the near future. And then I want to continue on with my manager's career on FIFA 21. I'm actually pretty into that, and I want to find like a diamond in the rough. Like I'm
Mhm.
looking for that needle in the haystack player in the youth academy that I can get that's going to be like world class,
Are you
and
actually playing the
that's like
game?
my goal.
Or you
I am
s
actually playing. No,
I
I'm
didn't
playing.
know if it was like NFL head coach or whatever.
Yeah, I'm playing, and I'm getting ready to win the European Shield, which I think is probably made up, but I'm in the
Oh,
semifinals.
okay.
I'm in the semifinals, and if I win, I get like $1.3 million toward my transfer
Wow.
budget. So
If you lose, come back
yeah.
on your shield.
So I need that 1.3 million pounds,
What is your
as it
transfer
were.
budget right now anyway? Like 4,000,000?
2.2. Yeah.
Good God, you can't buy anybody.
I cannot. It's 2.2. Like I said, I'm starting from the bottom. So I have sold a few guys. I've sold like a 36-year-old Jamaican dude for nothing, basically for a washing machine. I got
Mhm.
150,000 pounds for him, but
Wow.
I'm not going to play him. So get rid of his ass, get his ass out. And that's pretty much it. It's quite a bit. And but there's a lot of good things to play right now, and even more good things to play in the near future that I'm excited for. But that's all we've got for this week's episode. If you guys enjoyed what you heard, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. It'll just be there waiting for you on Mondays, on Monday mornings. It'll just be there for your listening pleasure. And don't forget to leave us a review on your podcast service, or if you're on YouTube, leave us a comment. And if you also have a friend who you believe may enjoy a PlayStation podcast such as this, where they can get all of the week's PlayStation news in less than 90 minutes, then by all means, please spread the word. Share us with them, bring them on board here. And finally, if you want to reach out with us and talk to us, you can do that on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. We're pretty active on there. And also, don't forget that you can catch us on YouTube, some of our game streams and clips at the DualSense Podcast, where you can also listen to each week's new episode there as well. You guys have a good week. We're going to get out of here so I can go take a poop. I'm about to poop myself, and we'll talk at you next week.